Let's jump into studs and duds to close out the episode for week 5. We got some fun guys to talk about here. Wes, week 5 stud. Give it to me.
Oh, yes. We haven't shared our studs and duds, so this is a fresh reaction for both of us. We get a double down, I hope. My stud for this week is Jakobi Meyers of the Las Vegas Raiders. So, you and I, Noah, have both stayed optimistic on his upside, even though he had a down week. And it's very, very easy to explain why he did not do well in week 4. And I'll summarize what's happened here. Week 1, 29 points.
Yeah.
Week 2, he was injured. And then week 3, 15.5 points. Come on. That is awesome. What happened in week 4? Why did he get 5 points? Because Jimmy Garoppolo was not starting.
Yeah.
And Jimmy G has targeted in these 2 games that he's played with Jakobi Meyers 10 times in week 1 and 12 times in their next game together. Some of you may be thinking, I don't know. This is Davante Adams against the Packers. That's going to be a revenge game. It's going to be electric. It's not at Lambeau. It's going to be at Allegiant Stadium. But here's the thing. Even if it is a revenge game for Davante Adams, which I am anticipating, Davante Adams can ball out and Jakobi Meyers can do very well.
Yeah.
Just like they did in week 3. Davante Adams put up 42 points off of 20 targets. And Jakobi Meyers still saw 12 targets. Yeah. So 2 things are going to happen, and they're both for Jakobi Meyers' benefit. 1, Adams goes off, and he still gets 12 targets. Or they triple team Davante Adams in spite, and Myers gets 20 targets. It's all going to be for Jakobi Meyers' benefit. It's going to be great. Garoppolo, as you mentioned at the top of the show, is cleared from the concussion protocol. He is starting. I am slotting in Jakobi Meyers in place of Amon-Ra St. Brown for my lineup because I believe he's going to be fantastic. He is my stud for this week.
Yeah. I love it so much. I think back, and it's been funny, I think back to our tight end rankings episode. And Wes, this is obviously for the tight ends, outside of the top 4 or 5, everyone else's guess is as good as ours. But you had Austin Hooper as a top 10 tight end this season because we both said Jimmy Garoppolo likes the tight end. Jimmy Garoppolo had a good connection with George Kittle. Austin Hooper could be a solid fantasy player this year. We both were bought in on that. We both agreed. We said, I had Austin Hooper in like my top 12. Like I thought this was going to be a solid fantasy player. Dude, the ball doesn't go anywhere besides Jakobi Meyers or Davante Adams. Jimmy Garoppolo in that game, 20 targets to Davante Adams, 12 targets to Jakobi Meyers. He threw just 10 passes in that game that didn't go to one of those 2 guys. He threw 44 balls in that game and I messed up. 12 of those passes, sorry. 12 of those passes. But he threw 44 balls in that game, and 32 of them went to Davante Adams or Jakobi Meyers. The targets are funneled to those 2 guys. That if we're looking to get the ball on a pass play down the field, not a dump off to Josh Jacobs or Amir Abdullah or whoever, it's going to Davante Adams or it's going to Jakobi Meyers. One of those 2. And, man, I am just thrilled to see the proof that the Patriots fumbled the bag so hard on letting Jakobi Meyers go and bringing in Juju Smith-Schuster. Like, what are we doing here? On a very similar contract. That was absurd to me. Good for Jakobi Meyers. I love Jakobi Myers. I'm rolling him out this week as well. I've got a couple people on bye. I've got Keenan Allen on bye. So Jakobi Meyers slotted right in for me, and I'm confident. Like, I'm very excited about Jakobi Meyers. So, I love it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think he's going to be very good. Almost as good as my stud for week 5 as well. And maybe hopefully a little better because I do have skin in the game. I'm playing Jakobi Meyers in my lineups. But my stud for week 5, also a wide receiver. It's Mr. Adam Thielen of the Carolina Panthers. Adam Thielen is defying the odds. Everyone said, "Oh, he's old. He's lost it. He's done." And we saw him ball out with Andy Dalton at quarterback. But the week before and the week after with Bryce Young, both were still very, very solid for Adam Thielen. He is the wide receiver 8 over the last 3 weeks. Adam Thielen is doing his thing. He's got a 26% target share over those last 3 weeks as well. Bryce Young trusts him. He's looking for him. I knew Bryce Young was going to find his guy. That's a big reason why Hayden Hurst was a top 10 tight end for me this season. He just ended up finding it with Adam Thielen. Thielen finds himself in space, and Bryce Young trusts him, and he can get open from the slot. And that's the key piece for me right now. I did a little more digging there. The Detroit Lions give up the 4th most yards to slot wide receivers so far this season. I think Adam Thielen is going to be finding himself open early. He's going to find himself space early because I know Aiden Hutchinson is going to be running down that offensive line to get to Bryce Young. I think Adam Thielen is going to be in a very good position this week to help out Bryce Young, to be there for him, to continue the success he's had over the last 3 weeks. Adam Thielen just projected 11.3 fantasy points. They're not running the ball in this game. The Lions' run defense is fantastic. They're going to be passing it. Adam Thielen's going to get his. He's going to have another very good week. Start him with confidence. Week 5 stud, Adam Thielen. Boom.
Wow, I am very interested in this because when he exploded, I attributed it to Andy Dalton. I said,
right.
Am I thinking, okay, it's not a rookie quarterback. It's a veteran throwing to a veteran. They're trying to show what this offense has, what the potential looks like together. And that's what I chalked it off to. And then previous week against the Vikings, I chalked it off to a revenge game, just funneling that target. He's going to play better. He's going to show, like, look, I mean, I know I paid my dues in Minnesota, but
sure,
I'm here to show you I still got it. You went ahead and got Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson. But if he does it again this week, then we're going to be looking at a legitimate scenario. When we do our midseason rankings and we review our top 10 rankings for each position, we could honestly be looking at Adam Thielen in the top 10 still.
Yeah.
Halfway through the season. No,
seriously. It's very real. Yeah, it's very real. Bryce Young, we all saw, like you said, we saw the Andy Dalton game and chucked it up to that was just them doing their thing. But he has been very good with Bryce Young. 20.4 points against the Saints with Bryce Young, and then 15.2 points last week with Bryce Young. I think he's got a good chance this week. Stud. I'm hoping.
Adam Thielen he's the most reliable. He's the most reliable of the Panthers wide receivers, 100%. Without a doubt.
Let's talk about some people that are going to suck, because that's fun to do. Because call our shots, and usually we're right. Never been wrong. So week 5 dud, Wes. Who is it going to be?
Najee Harris. Cutting straight to the chase. Najee Harris.
Yeah.
This is for those that need to hear this. You're looking at the name value of the Pittsburgh Steelers running back, and you're thinking, I got him in the 4th round. Am I really just going to bench him? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, you are. Because here's the deal. You might be looking at what happened last week, and you're like, oh, man, 11 points. I mean, that's not good for what I want of Najee, but, that's certainly better than what he's done. Better than what he's done. That's twice what he's done. My guy, 5.3 in week 1, 5.3 in week 2, 6.5 in week 3, and you're feeling optimistic because he got 11 points in week 4? Look, Najee Harris was really good his rookie season, the same as we talked about with Chase Claypool. Why were they good that season? Because Ben Roethlisberger was throwing it to anyone that he could see. And the closest person he could see in his 39-year-old eyes was Najee Harris. Yeah, his field of vision was just as far as the backfield. And he said, Najee, 94 targets his rookie year. 74 receptions. That's why he was top 3 in that rookie year. It wasn't the 1,200 rushing yards he got.
Yeah.
You know who had 1,000 yards rushing last year? Najee Harris. And he wasn't top 10. He's not the top 10 running back you think he is. You can bench him. His bread and butter in fantasy's rookie year was PPR value. He's on pace for 34 targets this year. That's it.
That's so painful.
That is so freaking bad.
Oh my god.
Just bench Najee. Bench him until further notice. If you want to trade him, good luck trying to find, I don't know, you might get a kicker for him at this point.
You probably trade him for me.
Best. Oh my god, see your face. You could trade him for no, Tutty. I was gonna say Tutty the Troll, but
Tutty the Troll is probably better fantasy value than
Tutty is a hoss. Yeah, my guy. He is
Tutty
incredible.
Is the second coming of Jerome Bettis.
Yeah, a much better Pittsburgh running back.
He's been so bad.
Yeah, once a stud, now a dud.
Yeah,
maybe a bust.
I'm glad I didn't end up drafting him anywhere. And I really was liking his value at draft season, but obviously we look at it now and it's just ridiculous. So I don't know what to say besides what you've said. It was PPR value in his rookie year. He started bringing it back around towards the end of last year. He finishes like the RB15, and it's. I would rather own Jaylen Warren than Najee Harris at this point. It's just listen.
Yeah.
Here is the. Oh man. I don't want to make an excuse, but I'm going to play devil's advocate here and say maybe the thing that has been holding him back is they have been without their top wide receiver this year. So offenses have just been able to play the run a little stronger. They haven't been too worried about the receiving game with, George Pickens is fine, but Allen Robinson and then Calvin Austin and, maybe it's just the lack of Deontay Johnson in the offense has yet to let them be truly what they had been trying to be all offseason and been working to be all offseason. But I don't even know if I just believe what I just said. So I don't know. It's so tough. Najee was so good in college. He was good his rookie year with the PPR value, but he just looks slow. He looks worn out. Maybe he isn't fully ever recovered from the foot injury. I don't know. It's disappointing, but Najee Harris is definitely a dud. That's
never had more than a 57% snap count in a game this season.
Yeah.
You have so much more value with Jaylen Warren, even though they're producing the same amount because of the ADP, and you don't have to start Jaylen Warren. But bench Najee Harris, and it's time to bench the player you're about to list as well, Noah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna just simple and plain. I just flip that around backwards. Plain and simple. Dud for week 5 is Gabe Davis. Listen, he has been on a hot streak over the last 3 weeks. 3 weeks with touchdowns. He also has only had 1 game this season with more than 3 catches. I know it's been only a month so far, but the touchdowns are making up. I'm not kidding you. His touchdowns, he scored 3 this season. They are accounting for 49% of his fantasy points this season. He's the wide receiver 30, and he's only had 18 targets. Like I said, he's only had 1 game with more than 3 catches. If he doesn't score, he's going to be a dud. And the Jacksonville Jaguars do pretty good against the deep pass, which is his bread and butter. So, listen, he's probably going to be I'm going to say he's going to be less than 5 fantasy points this week in London. Bright and early, 6:30 a.m. for us, Wes. Man, can we cut this out, maybe? Guys, stop trying this. We want to sleep. It would be greatly appreciated. But Gabe Davis is a week 5 dud. If he doesn't score, he's going to be disappointing. And so I just don't think he's reliable enough. I think 3 touchdowns in the past 3 weeks is a little bit unrealistic for him. And in a bit of a tougher matchup this week, I'm just out on Gabe Davis. So he is my week 5 dud.
I don't have anything really to add. I mean, we've known for a while that Gabe Davis is boom or bust. He's so touchdown dependent. He's only a deep threat option. That's all he does. And there's not much to it as well. I mean, you might be excited of what happened last week with Miami, but I'll tell you what, Josh Allen is going to feel the pressure of Josh Allen. And that's a legitimate thing because that Jacksonville defense, even though they haven't been winning a lot, they will do enough to... I don't know. I'm just trying to add some commentary.
No, you're right. They have rattled every single quarterback they've played against. And so I don't think they rattled Mahomes. They obviously rattled Anthony Richardson week 1. They rattled Desmond Ridder last week. They are a team that is having some trouble. And but on defense, they're doing okay. So, Gabe Davis is just going to – I think it's going to be a down week for him. I don't think he scores, and I think it's just going to be disappointing for him. So, there you go. Studs and duds for week 5. Book it. Never been wrong.